Neat lawns, quiet driveways, houses so similar they could have been stamped from the same mold. The kind of neighborhood where people wave at each other from across the street and assume everything is fine, because everything looks fine. Because in places like this, everything always looks fine. That is exactly what David and Louise Turpin were counting on. Behind one of those ordinary doors, on one of those ordinary streets, something was happening that most human beings cannot bring themselves to imagine. 13 children, some of them adults, were being starved, chained to furniture, and kept in filth so severe that the officers who eventually walked through that door would later struggle to describe what they encountered without their voices breaking. This was not a house in the middle of nowhere. This was not some isolated compound hidden from the world. This was Perris, California, suburbia. A real neighborhood with real neighbors who drove past that house every single day. And nobody knew. Or maybe, as this story will force you to ask, somebody almost did. On the morning of January 14th, 2018, a 17-year-old girl climbed out of a window in Perris, California. She had spent weeks planning this moment. She had never owned a phone. She had never been to school. She had spent most of her life either chained to a bed or locked in a room so dark she had lost track of how many years had passed. She ran to the nearest house she could find, a stranger's porch, and she did something she had rehearsed in her mind 1,000 times. She dialed 911.
911 emergency, what are you reporting?
Hello?
This is 911, do you have an emergency?
I just went away from home because I live in a family of 15, okay? Can you hear me? And we have abusing parents. Did you hear that?
Okay, how did they abuse you?
Okay. They hit us, they throw us across, they like to throw us across the room. They pull our hair, they yank out our hair. I have my two little sisters right now are chained up.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 17.
What's your name?
Louise Turpin. Okay, you gotta give me a minute. This is gonna take a while. I've never been out. I don't go out much, so I don't know anything about the streets or anything.
Does anybody at the house take any kind of medication?
Oh, I don't know what medication is.
When the operator picked up, the girl whispered that she and her 12 brothers and sisters were being held captive, that they were being starved, that some of them were chained to furniture, that the people doing this to them were their parents. The operator almost didn't believe her. The girl's voice was so soft, so measured, that the dispatcher initially thought she might be a child calling as a prank. She wasn't. She was 17 years old and weighed 68 pounds. Within the hour, Riverside County Sheriff's deputies arrived at 160 Muir Woods Road. What they found inside that house would become one of the most disturbing cases in modern American history, not because of what the Turpins had done in the dark, but because of how completely they had done it in plain sight. To the neighbors of Muir Woods Road, the Turpins were barely a presence at all. They were quiet. The curtains were always drawn. The children were rarely seen outside, and when they were, they moved quickly back indoors. No one thought much of it. People keep to themselves. That's not a crime. David Turpin was 56 years old. He had worked for Northrop Grumman, a defense contractor, as an engineer. Louise Turpin was 49. They had been married since 1985, when she was 16 years old and he was 24. By the time police arrived at their door, they had 13 children, ranging in age from 2 to 29. On paper, they were a homeschooling family. David Turpin had registered a private school under California's education laws, naming it Sandcastle Day School, which allowed him to avoid any oversight of what was actually happening to the children inside. In California at the time, virtually anyone could register a homeschool with almost no government scrutiny. The Turpins had exploited that gap completely. Their social media told a different story entirely. Louise Turpin posted photos regularly on Facebook, pictures of the family at Disney theme parks, dressed in matching outfits, smiling. David Turpin had a Twitter account. They renewed their wedding vows at Graceland in an Elvis-themed ceremony twice. From the outside, they appeared to be an eccentric but devoted family. They had moved frequently over the years, from Virginia to Texas to California, and in each place their pattern held. They arrived, they kept to themselves, they left before anyone asked too many questions.